Welcome to Dating with Reptar, and I am Reptar. And if you don't follow me already on Instagram, I am on Reptar underscore Love Jones, R3PTAR underscore LOVEJONEZ. And we're on YouTube. YouTube. And it is YouTube search for Dating with WITH Reptar. Make sure the E is a 3. And today could say it's about dating, but it's certain problems that can arise when you want to date someone and you're trying to date them, but you realize at home is not the best place for you to look for something better because you may not see better, which is a simple fact. Name, age, and occupation for the fans.
I'm Taqueena. I'm 27, and I'm a daycare assistant teacher.
And your zodiac big 3 is?
I'm a Gemini sun. I'm a Scorpio rising, and I'm a Sagittarius moon.
So let's get some backstory in your neck of the woods as to what makes it difficult to find a guy opposite of what your father may have portrayed without either being there or may have shown certain emotions that you're not cool with. Whatever the case may be, a nice backstory as to why this is the case.
What I looked for in a man never came from like a parent's opinion because, for one, my mother never had that conversation with me about the type of man I should look for. So, one, I didn't get that from my mom. Two, my father was not in my life as a child like that. So, of course, I didn't even get a man's opinion on the type of man that I should go for. My grandfather raised me. I lived with my grandparents. And up until fourth grade, my grandfather had passed from cancer. So, even though he was in my life, I was too young for him to have that conversation with me. So, a parent's idea of what love should look like for me, I don't know. So I had to go out there and figure it out for myself. I would say I got it the first time I had a relationship, which was at 16. I was in a relationship. Honestly, that was a good person that I chose. It was only until about 17, 18 and up that the type of guys I would go for were not the guys that I should have been with. Mm-hmm. After going through a lot of pain, dishonesty, cheating, when you go through some things, you know what you look for, you know what you don't tolerate, and pretty much that's where I'm at now. I know what type of man I want, what type of man I need to look for, and basically I just want the type of man that I could build a life with.
I can't empathize, but I can sympathize. I would say my empathy would come from finding the wrong person. I'm famous for that kind of stuff. And I don't want to say famous for it like I be doing it all the time. It's like you think you find the right person and then the flaws start falling into place after you finally get the Love Jones out, the honeymoon phase, as they say.
Right.
So after that becomes the case, you finally start really figuring them out as being in the relationship, not as a friend anymore. You're like past that phase. And it's like, oh, so you different. Heard you. But it's like, is that what you're going to tolerate and hope to be married to if they're looking for that? That becomes the question for the fans. Literally the fans, meaning you, him, and everybody in your brain that's talking to you. Mm-hmm. Is that what you want to deal with? Is that the kind of subconscious you want when you think about, did I do this for the right reasons? So I can say in just to bring a little insight for myself, I can say really like my brother, rest his soul, he was the one that really showed me like the kind of man I would want to be around. And the funny thing was we were the same sign. He was July 2nd, I was July 4th, but we were 23 years apart. I had 4 of them, but he was the baby of the first 4 kids on my dad's side. And I feel like he was the one that really taught me like a lot of guy stuff. And I was a barbershop kid. Some girls be the hair salon kid. I was the barbershop kid. I was around all the guys, hearing certain things. And if they cursed, he'd be like, my sister's here. They'd be like, sorry, little sis, but you gonna hear this when you get older, kind of thing. So I didn't feel disrespected. I appreciated them giving me the real. So I
Right.
was never set up for failure when I got older. I'm not saying older like I'm sitting here being 35. It helped knowing that there was him and the barbershop guys that looked out for me every time. So I knew what I wanted to see, the kind of person I wanted to be with. I wanted to be married. My brother was the same way. It's just he didn't get a chance to marry anyone that, he finally found someone that he would like to settle and be married to. But unfortunately, he he passed. So he really didn't get a chance to have the kids in the house with the pick fence kind of idea. That's like me trying to finish that for him and for myself, because it's not fair that he didn't get a chance to have that life after 40. Like, he passed when he was 40 and I was 17. So we talking 10 years, 27 now. That's 10 years of not having him, going on 11 in
Right.
October. So it's like I would want my kids to know their uncle, even though he not here. Like, everybody does it. They be like, "Oh, your grandmother was the best if you knew her," or "Your grandfather was the homie if you knew him. Your uncle would have been lit if you knew him." You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's like I wanna give that at least to my mom, because I'm her only child and she would be the one that I would really do it for. The son she raised, that she actually raised, is not here and didn't get to give her the stepchildren that she might have grandchildren that she might have envisioned. So I can only empathize in terms of when you said it, certain things and certain situations can end up being a problem when you trying to find somebody that shares the same things or might have different views but the same kind of end result, which becomes, you want to find something different and that different be so different, they be like, I ain't asked for this different. God, what you doing?
Yeah, it throws you off.
Like, God, what you doing? Can family issues cause a person to search for a solution in the relationship? And what I mean by that is, are you in the relationship to bring closure to your family issues that you have, or the kind of issues that were given to you, thrown at you since birth, and you're trying to find a relationship that counteracts the issues that are already in place?
My parents are not married,
Mm-hmm.
and as growing up without a father, I of course want to be married before I have a child. And in my search for finding that man, I also want to make sure that that man wants to have a family. So if I know that he can be able to have a family, have a strong foundation, have a marriage, hardworking, he doesn't give up. If I'm with someone that's on the same page as I am, as far as family wise or whatever else is the case, it's kind of like it's almost like a sigh of relief. Like, yes, this guy wants the same thing that I want. He understands that it's going to be hard work, it's not going to be easy, but he's willing to go through that with me, and etc., etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say the only thing that I'm really looking for is that the guy and I are on the same page as far as family is concerned, building a family, starting a life together. Everything else, yeah, it's mainly just that.
I'm in the same background as you. My parents didn't marry either. It was always a thing they wanted to do, but, well, my mom wanted it. My dad had other reserves. So that's how I ended up with a hyphenated name, because my mother was like, if you're not going to marry me, then I want my child to have my name too. Hence, my mom's name is my middle name. When that non-marriage stuff kick in, it's like, you're scared it's going to happen to you too. And I thought, for one, that was going to happen to me when I was with in my almost 5 year relationship. We talked about marriage. We talked about the whole shebang. It's just some people are just not mentally stable, and it
Yeah.
shows. And that instability that shows up is not good for you. You know what I'm saying? And having that kind of instability, I should say, I couldn't do it. He was able to drag me into a 2 year depression that I was not with, and didn't give a rat's ass about it, because he already had mental going on. And so it's like, here I am now. I'm stuck with this. After finally getting the courage to leave, it's like, now I have to relearn myself. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And in relearning myself, I didn't want to be what's out here now. I didn't want to be what's in my household. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to. I have health issues that might deter me from having kids by myself, or other means might have to happen, whatever the case may be. But don't mean I don't want to have that life. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And I told my mother all the time, like, I don't want to end up like yo. And I mean that respectfully.
In a different way, yeah.
I mean it
Hmm.
respectfully. She said, I don't feel no way for you saying that. And I'm glad you want to be different. I'm glad you want to see things different. You got to make sure it's the right person for you and they're equally yoked. Praise him.
Yeah.
Because even just in a spirituality sense, you could probably get them somewhere to say, well, I go to church and such and such. I have people that'd be cool if you're down with it. I even have another church you'd be cool with. I have options that they may want to see.
Hmm.
So it's not like I don't give that option. It's just I have to make sure that it's right for that person, and I have to make sure we all on the same page,
Yeah.
as you said.
Hmm.
And having that foundation is,
Key.
you ain't got this, I'm the gross sister. Like, I'm like, I had to do it in a reference. Like, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it. With a base at? Kirk and Rashida made a house. Why can't we?
Come on.
Why can't we? It's not fair.
Mm-mm.
Why we got to be treated like whatever y'all see on BET Uncut? Um,
No, ma'am.
and you see it ain't on, right? Not having that kind of male figure in your case, my case is a little more complex. In your case, did that cause you to bring certain problems to the relationship, or certain issues that you felt like the person should know that you're working on it, or the person should know that this is what's going on and I'm figuring out a way to fix it?
To be honest with you, to be honest with you,
Mm-hmm.
I was not aware that I needed to fix anything within myself until we could say 3 years ago.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. Um, so now I pretty much bring that to the table. It's not a secret at all. And I just feel like being single, I have to work on myself, but that doesn't mean that when I'm in a relationship, I stop working on myself, because that's always going to happen. I would like to go to therapy, and the reason why I say this is no type of blame on my parents whatsoever. But because my mom has not been married, my father is not in my life, and my father has been giving me broken promises ever since I was a little kid, I have somewhat of a scare that if I love someone, they're not going to be around.
Mm, praise him.
I can sit here and preach about how much I want to be married, but when I'm dating someone, it's almost scary when I find out that they really are into me and I'm not, or I am, but it's like, I don't know if I'm ready for this road. And so it was certain situations that where I was dealing with the person, and the second they showed that they had more feelings for me than I did, it's like I wanted to leave. I didn't want to have no more parts with them. And that, like I said, that didn't start happening until about 3 years ago. And it wasn't until recently that a friend of mine said that I'm afraid. Like, I'm afraid. So it's like, and at first I didn't understand, because it's like, how can I be afraid of this? Is something that I say I want. Like, I want this, but for some reason it's like I'm afraid of love.
You just gave a whole sermon. You want to preach that on Sunday? It's a thing to see someone actually give a rat's ass about you, as I said before, and then you're sitting, you're like, really? You sure you got the right person? Like, you second guess the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I can say, in the same relationship I left, I felt the same way. Um, I was like, how can I like someone this much, but he liked me first? That was me trying to be grown at 21, knowing I could drink a little bit too, understanding that I'm gonna be in literally a grown relationship for the first time. I'm not saying that any other ones that I had that I can count on my little fingers, that I had weren't grown, but it's like now this is like pushing out of college now. Dealing in that world, it's different. I'm not even gonna hold you. It's really different. And what I mean by different is you have to be prepared to really be invested in someone else's feelings. And I don't say that to say that we don't do it with our friends already. Not saying that we don't do that already, right? I'm saying that in terms of now we know them more than a friend. This is more than what the basics. This is down to how they scrub their feet, how they brush their teeth, how they walk to school every day, whatever the case may be. Like you're getting to the stage of knowing them
Yeah.
down to the quirks. And it's like what I knew that I thought I knew about this person from what I saw is what I thought I knew about this person from what I saw. Like, I mean, I can't word it no better way. It's like what Cisco did in Thong Song. He repeated the verse again. And what you believe. To go back to one of the conversations we had, I really feel like in my heart of hearts, you're literally taking a whole ass gamble when you're trying to deal with someone. I thought that was the best facts you could ever give in the
Mm-hmm.
weirdest way possible. In a whole nother conversation we was having, taking a risk is a real thing. We do it
Mm-hmm.
every day.
We do.
Every day. When we try to go get for a job, you taking a risk. You could be well qualified in this, you still taking a risk.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I was gonna be in after school. I ain't know that was a risk. A whole not a whole risk. It was a whole risk. I was
Right.
literally pimping for a job. Literally. So I really truly feel that gambling in a relationship in terms of if you really want to do something with this person is a real ass thing. And it's up to you if you want to go with that person. It's up to you. You feel like to feel the need to leave. That's the issue of what was already happening because you're scared that the person's going to do me like my dad did. And I'm just being completely honest.
That's exactly what it is.
Completely honest. I would say for myself, it's probably the same as mine. It's like abandonment. You don't want to feel abandoned by the person. And that abandonment stuff is so crazy because it's like when I say that you left me, I have a reason as to why I feel like you left me. So I'm not walking in there and just say, "Oh, you left me." You. No, I have a whole last reason as to why you left. Now, if you got a
Right.
justifiable explanation for that, I ain't gonna be here for it, but I'll be here for it. Catch 22. I'm here for it, but I ain't here for it, but I'm here for it.
Right.
So it we kind of have the same kind of the at least the main one is like, I don't want you to leave me. Why do you like me? What is the
Mm-hmm.
purpose of you really liking who I am? So when I tell a guy like I love to hear about me because it's like validation as to who I try to be. And I don't mean try as in like I'm trying to be somebody else. It's like who I'm trying to be consistent with and be that consistent person so that at least I know this person really sees my consistency. So why can't you keep up? If you think I'm this whole person, that's what it comes back to. If you think I'm this whole person, then why did you not be consistent with me?
And you know what else it is? It's matching your words with your actions.
Won't he do it? He said he would. Praise him. That's a word on high. You sure you don't want to preach on Sunday? Uh, um, it's the truth because you can't just talk a good game and can't show me no. Sweetie, I've been there, done that. Boy, a couple T-shirts and went to 2 concerts. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, four. 4 concerts.
Now, I think about that.
Four. Maybe five and a half. Who knows? I've been there, done that. Like you can't just tell me a good game and then you just say no. And you don't even say it. You just decrease and dwindle
Yeah.
and do one of these and cringe and I can't read your mind.
Mm-hmm.
We're not clairvoyant people. I mean, I understand women got it in their ovaries to know everything. It's a crystal ball, as one of the plays would say. But we really don't know.
No.
And you guys won't know unless you ask, and then we won't know unless we ask. But we can ask you the world, don't mean you tell me everything.
Exactly. And I mean, you don't show it either.
So it's like, if you're not gonna tell me or show me or do me too, what we doing? My infamous question for the years I've been in relationships: what we doing?
And
What we doing? What we doing?
yeah.
It can be relationship, sectionship, situationship, friendship, touching ship, kissing ship, any of those ships. What we doing? What we doing? Lock lipping. What we doing? What what we doing? I mean, I had to make a little joke, but it's like, why are we
Oh,
here?
we do. Right.
Why are we here in the same space, sucking up each other's air for no reason? What we doing? So, like I said, like, I'm just sometimes floored when they say they don't know what we're doing or understand, and I'm like, I told you everything. What more do you want me to say? That's me. I'm going to tell you what the hell's going on. I'm going to tell you how I feel. This is me. This is what it is. But then on the flip coin of that, it's like, it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And that'll scare brother.
Trust goes a very, very long way.
Like, if you don't trust me, like, I give you full-fledged default trust. What we doing?
The problem with me is that it's not them trusting me, it's me trusting them. Because up and down, you could tell me how you feel about me, you could tell me what you want to do for me, but what you're showing me is nothing of what you say. It's not measuring up. It's not adding up.
Right.
And I need you to add up so it can make sense to the both of us.
Exactly. And that's why, in a lot of times, if I am going to hang out with somebody, especially a dude, if I'm going to hang out with them, I'm like, if you don't plan it, we ain't going. That has saved lives and unwasted time. Like, I might do stuff for myself. I might book a room or something for myself. Go out and walk out in the street and say, oh, I gotta go get my meds, but I'm gonna walk around and get something to eat or something. That's me. But that don't mean you can just tag along and say, oh, what we doing? No, ain't no we, sir. I picked this for myself. I'm keeping it a stack. Like, I don't want to waste my time anymore. We all pushing 30. We all pushing 30. Everybody that's been in the chat so far with us are pushing 30 or is 30 or pushing 33.
Yeah.
Or pushing 31 or 32. Like, it's not cool. Like, we can't be playing games no more. We can't.
No.
We can't play no games no more. I don't got time for this millennial stuff.
If it's not working toward our future, I don't want it.
I want no parts of it. No parts. If you realize that you guys don't work, and the issues became the focal point, or it could be new stuff that pop up. They say time heal all wounds. So, do you feel that time and self-reflection can heal all wounds?
We need to have time and self-reflecting majority of the time. But if we are together, we have to come together. Being with someone is going to be part of that self-reflecting process.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I can do that for myself, but I'm with you. We both need to reevaluate some things and then come back together and share what we feel has happened, needs to happen, whatever the case is.
I'd say time heals all wounds, but it ain't all of them.
Yeah.
You can forgive, but as they say, I can forgive but never forget. That don't mean I still have malice towards it. It's just, this is what you did and this is what happened. Now I know how to function with you.
Yeah.
Now I know how to move. I know how to jerk and swap and flip flop, pop lock and drop, whatever works. On the situation, I know that this is how you are. This is the person that I see. This is who I'm functioning with. It's up to me if I want to keep going.
I was saying, once a person shows you who they are, you need to believe them.
But Maya Angelou said it best.
Point blank, period. You just need to believe them. If it's not benefiting your purpose that you had for your life, you in it for nothing. You wasting your time, sweetheart. Baby girl, don't do it. You're wasting your time.
Baby girl. Like,
No,
You know,
seriously.
it becomes scary all over again. Like, now and then you realize that's not what you're trying to deal with, or you found out in the relationship this is how far I am right now. It's time to go. It's something you can deal with. Make sure it's manageable for you and it don't make you
Right.
completely crazy.
Mhm.
Because like I said, it put me in a place where I had to relearn my entire self. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. Me either.
I don't want to do it. I've come to the conclusion that I do not need a Scorpio. I do not need them.
My ex was a Scorpio.
They have too much depression and anxiety that they do not deal with. None. And I'm not just talking relationship. I'm talking about just knowing the person.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, I don't want to deal with your past shit. I don't want it. I don't want it because you're going to make me go so far in and care too much that I'm messing myself up.
Mhm.
Backstory on that is like the guy was like, "Oh, I would never do that to you," and this and that. I said, "You can tell me the world, don't mean I'm gonna believe you.
Facts.
You can tell me Disneyland is Disney World, and I still wouldn't believe you unless I went.
Mhm.
Even though I've
You
been
got
to Disney World, I know what it look like, but
you got to see it.
I gotta see what Busch Gardens and King's Dominion are different. I gotta see that. You ain't gonna tell me that I'm different and I've changed. And you can change for the Lord, don't mean He
That's
leave you
nice.
either.
That's nice.
It's just I've been in that position to see what that looks like happen in action that I don't want to go backwards. I don't. Don't feed
Yeah.
me false hope. I'm not wasting my time no more.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that the previous time was wasting time. It really wasn't. It's just I realized what I now need and what I'm worth. And that's just cap on that. Period.
And that's that on that.
In that order. But thank you so much for joining me. I'm so
Thank
glad
you for
you
having
had.
me.
Of course, you're always invited. I hope this helps many people that are out there that need to hear. Not everybody has the certain problems we may have, but you can have both parents and still have the same issue. If you follow me on Instagram, though, you can find out more at Reptar underscore Love Jones, R3PTAR underscore LVEJ1EZ. And we are on YouTube. 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 In YouTube search of Dating with WITH Reptar. Make sure the E is a three. But do this, friend. Do that. Do that.
This is